This is News 8 Now this morning.
The exact cause of the fire is still unknown at this time. We do know that we were doing prescribed burns. Risk assessments were done. Evaluations were done. This has visibility at the highest levels. The Secretary of the Army is tracking this down to all the people at Fort McCoy.
Our teachers are excellent, stellar professionals, so to be able to give them resources to engage their students to a greater and higher degree is just a thrilling thing.
We've had people from as far away as Preston and Rushford, Winona, Minnesota. It's a good service for everyone. We service quite a large area with it as well.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is April 14th.
14th. Yep.
And it's Friday.
Finally, Friday, right? Well, I call it Fry-yay.
Fry-yay.
Fry-yay. Let's go. And we're right into the weekend here after
Right
this.
into the weekend, cooler temperatures. That's all I've heard.
Yep. It's going to be a lot cooler, especially Sunday. Can you believe Sunday is going to be in the 40s?
And it was what,
Crazy.
high 70s last weekend?
Yeah, we were that, and
Easter.
then, you know, even these past few days we've been in the 80s too. So it's a huge change. It's going to be a huge shock to all of us.
Can't win it all.
I know, but you know, at least as we progress later towards next week, you'll see that our temperatures will be a little bit more average for this time of the year, and you're going to want to stay tuned for that 8-day forecast. But I do want to go ahead and show you right off the top that we are still once again dealing with fire weather alerts, and more specifically a red flag warning for portions of the area. Same time, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's the basically time frame for those southerly winds to kick in, the low relative humidity to kick in, and of course our temperatures will be into the 80s. So all ingredients that we need for unfortunate fire weather concerns here yet again. Current temperatures are into the 50s and 60s. Now 60 degrees in La Crosse, 55 in Eau Claire. Clear skies right now on the satellite picture. We expect the clear weather to continue through at least between around 1 to 3 p.m. That's when we probably start to see some increasing clouds, but more so late afternoon to early evening as well. Temperatures around 80 to 81 degrees for the high. Allergies are high for poplar. Jupiter is medium. Trees today is high. For tomorrow, everything is on the medium side of things here for you. So stay tuned. Again, we'll have a check on that full weather forecast. I'll time things out here for all of our fire weather ingredients today coming up in just a bit. Sophia?
The Arcadia fire in Monroe County continues to burn this morning, and officials say roughly half of it is contained. At a press conference, emergency management officials say around 3,000 acres have burned. Evacuation area remains in effect for Arcadia Ave between Smothers Road, Millstone Road, and Abbey Ave to Blueberry Road, including Archer Road and Arrowhead Road. There is a hard closure of Arcadia Ave from Smothers Road to Blueberry Road. Army officials from Fort McCoy spoke at the press conference, offering condolences for residents near the military installation who evacuated because of the fire. When asked how the fire started, officials say they are investigating.
The exact cause of the fire is still unknown at this time. We do know that we were doing prescribed burns. Risk assessments were done. Evaluations were done. This has visibility at the highest levels. The Secretary of the Army is tracking this down to all the people at Fort McCoy.
Major General Baker said these prescribed burns were happening all week. He said these burns are routine before the summer training season.
That's why we're going to investigate what the cause of this and go into more detail. And one of the reasons is that this is the height of the training season. We have over 2,000 soldiers coming into the base, and prescribed burns really set the conditions. And there's going to be a lot of live fire going on. And instead of the ammunition and the tracers starting the impact area and having a very uncontrolled burn, this is a measure that we take to set the conditions so that we have successful training throughout the year.
Officials say most of the burned areas are on Fort McCoy, and 70 acres have so far burned off of the military installation. Emergency officials have changed the evacuation center from the Warrens Community Center to the Lunda Center in Black River Falls. Dozens of residents were evacuated multiple times over the past 24 hours. On Thursday, at least one resident was hopeful that the winds would bring the fire away from their property and let crews get it under control.
I'm still concerned, but I feel a little more secure with the wind going away from us, but there's still other people that it's in their direction of. So.
Frost says he's making preparations to protect his property in case the fire spreads to his area. A restaurant in Warrens, The Pines, has had open doors all day to give evacuees somewhere to go. The restaurant's owners are offering food to those residents as well as first responders and emergency management officials. One resident who was evacuated says he's thankful for the support.
The community has been great. Yeah, I've known the owners here at The Pines for probably a year and a half now, and yeah, they know me very well, so yeah. It's nice that they're serving food for us and stuff, so that's helpful.
The Buffalo County Sheriff's Office has issued an all clear after multiple wildfires, including a brush fire in Mondovi. Early Thursday, one fire forced a brief shutdown of State Highway 35 and Highway 37 south of County Highway B was down to one lane due to a significant fire. People living in the town of Campbell have been drinking from bottled water for 2 years now after cancer-causing chemicals were found in the town's groundwater. Now the town is drilling deeper. News 8 Now's Anna Fisher gives us an update from officials.
Because it's an ancient river and the fact that the water in this river was generated years ago, right? There's no risk that human activities could have contaminated this lower level. The fact that there's a barrier of several layers of rock that overlay this water source, it's a lot more protected, and our residents deserve that.
Donahue says they will begin pumping water from the well next week, and that water will be tested for PFAS and other contaminants. Donahue doesn't expect that the new water source contains PFAS, but says they will know more after samples come back in May. Donahue also says there has been talk of creating a series of wells, making a municipal system for the town of Campbell. That project would potentially cost millions. Still ahead on your morning news, we have the details on how banks are losing money through home loans. And tax season may be different in the future. We learn how the IRS may start to include payment apps. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. An Iowa man played catch every day for a year to raise money for charity. His goal was to raise $100,000 for the Miracle League of CO County, but he did much more than that by donating a kidney along the way. In addition to donating his kidney, Kevin Nygaard raised more than $340,000 for the Miracle League, an organization that provides recreational facilities for people with physical and intellectual disabilities. During his year of playing catch, Nygaard tossed the ball with more than 2,100 people in 5 countries. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Looking at a nice clear sky here for us to work with this morning. Maybe just a few clouds here and there, but overall we can say is definitely a mostly clear start, which will continue as we head into this afternoon as well. So very nice conditions for your dog walking out there. We will see some increasing clouds, however, as we head into the early evening. For temperatures right now are into the 50s and 60s, 59 in La Crosse, 54 degrees currently now in Winona. And as we take a look now at your zone forecast today, our high temperatures will be once again reaching the 80s. In fact, 82 today in Shelby, 83 in West Salem, and 82 in Unalaska today. Highs will reach 80 in Viroqua, 79 in Westby. Highs are going to reach the low 80s across our central zones today, with 83 in Black River Falls and 81 in Osseo. Meanwhile, in the Chippewa Valley today, you're currently looking at, or you will be looking at highs into the low 80s, that is. So for your schoolcast, we're looking at 58 degrees with clear skies overhead, and on the way back home this afternoon, we're talking about 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and overall another warm day here in store is in the forecast. And that could not be very good news here for some of us, especially dealing with those wildfires and dry conditions, which we'll talk about more coming up in the full weather forecast in just a few minutes.
In your consumer news this morning, starting with some house market news, banks are actually losing money on home loans. Wells Fargo announced that it would be scaling back on the mortgage business, and they're not alone. The Mortgage Bankers Association reported that independent mortgage banks and subsidiaries of chartered banks are in the red for the first time since 2008, losing an average $300 on each mortgage. Applications for refinancing are also down due to low interest rates, further pushing banks away. President Biden wants more government workers to return to the office instead of working from home. Thursday, the Biden administration detailed new guidance for federal employees to return to work. The guidance makes clear that departments and agencies must, quote, substantially increase in-office work without any specific requirements. The government plans to end the public health emergency May 11th. Delta Airlines has reported record advanced bookings for this summer, despite ticket costs up 17% more this year. It's the largest sign the airline industry is doing well post-pandemic. Delta reported $163 million in earnings in the first 3 months of 2023, following the loss of $784 million a year earlier. Like many airlines, the Atlanta-based carrier is under pressure to increase wages, giving workers a 5% raise, even though most of its employees don't have a union to negotiate for them. The way we do taxes may change in the near future, clearing up some of the confusion over transactions made on payment platforms like PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. CBS's Scott McFarlane explains which types of payments the IRS will soon want you to report.
I was supposed to have a house call today.
Monica Colburn helps run a Virginia hair salon. But like a growing number of Americans, she uses the flexible hours to earn some extra cash.
How many different side hustles do you have?
I think last year I had 8 1099s.
She works weddings and promotes musicians, collecting most of her income through payment apps like Venmo.
If I didn't have multiple ways that somebody could pay me, I feel like I would lose business.
The apps are easy to use, but starting next year, filing taxes for millions of people could become trickier. A new IRS rule will require anyone earning more than $600 on payment apps in 2023 to receive a 1099-K form. The old threshold was earning $20,000 over 200 transactions.
This is not a tax law change. This is just a reporting requirement for those third parties like Venmo, PayPal, and the credit card companies.
The IRS expects an initial surge of 4 million of these forms next year, which it says it can handle.
But there are businesses concerned handling all the paperwork from this change could be like taking on a whole nother job in and of itself.
Businesses like Dennis Turbeville, a Maryland furniture maker, takes nearly all of his payments through apps and worries he'll make a mistake when the government is asking for its cut.
A $2,500 penalty for a business that's doing $2 million a year, not a big deal. For somebody like me, that's a big deal.
The IRS says money exchanged between friends shouldn't be taxed and warns users to classify those transactions as personal, not goods and services.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Sophia. Well, yet another day of seeing some fire weather concerns. And this is only for portions of the viewing area. But whether you're under these red flag warnings or not, make sure to not burn today, because we're talking about basically a south wind bringing in that warm, dry air, very low relative humidity values today, and temperatures into the 80s are all ingredients today to help fuel some of these fire weather conditions that we're anticipating. And you can see as we head throughout the day, these wind speeds out of the south will only increase between 10 to 15 and at times 15 to 20 miles an hour as well, especially as we head into the later afternoon hours today before those winds begin to subside as we head into the early evening. Now, the other ingredient here today is, of course, those low relative humidity values, and you can see we are going to drop them quite a bit as we head into those later morning hours. And in fact, by this afternoon around 4 p.m., we could be looking at relative humidity values into the 20s and even the low 30s in many spots here today. And the same can really be said as we head into the early evening hours today as well. Forecast highs, not anything record-breaking like what we've been seeing the last couple of days, but still well above average for this time of the year. As you can see, highs will climb into at least those upper 70s, if not definitely the low 80s in many spots. As of right now, City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse off to a beautiful start, 59 degrees, visibility is looking clear at 10 miles. Conditions in Eau Claire, 55 degrees for you, clear skies, light southeast winds at around 5 miles an hour. Current temperatures here in Sparta at 40 degrees. Look at the temperature in Black River Falls right now at 36 degrees, however. But really the rest of us, we can say, are mainly into the 50s. And as we break down your forecast, it will be 75 by noon today. mostly sunny skies and then turning mostly cloudy by 4 p.m. 81 degrees, and we'll see those increasing clouds as we head into early this evening with temperatures in the 70s. As of right now, things are looking quiet, maybe a few clouds here and there. However, as we take you into Sky Tracker, you'll notice that our clouds will be on the increase, especially later today around 5 p.m. As you can see there, we're watching a bit of a disturbance in the atmosphere moving in our general direction. It's called a broad trough of low pressure, helping to give us some increasing moisture here to work with. But the rain doesn't really start here until tomorrow as the system inches closer, and you can see some rain showers affecting our western communities by 10 and then moving east. By 4 p.m. we may get a bit of a break with some clouds here and there, not really a whole lot of sunshine though, and another round of showers and storms could move in as we head into tomorrow night into early Sunday. So here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and notice how our temperatures will be getting much colder, especially this weekend, and then we will be talking about highs in the 60s as we head into the majority of next week, which is a little bit more average for this time of year, along with a chance of storms. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for April 14th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz, one of the area's best rivalries, living up to it yesterday. A back-and-forth battle at Copeland Park. Wish I could have stayed the whole game because these two squads provided the firepower early and often in this one. Central hosting rival Onalaska on the diamond. Hilltoppers scored 2 in the first, but the Riverhawks respond. Casey Erickson drills it to second. Play can't be made cleanly. Mason Elston scores to make it 2-1. Second inning now. Onalaska answers back. 2 on for Caden Kokeisel. The junior is going to give this one a ride. He finds the gap in left center. 1 runs in. Here comes Ben Sturr. Big 2 RBI hit makes it 4-1 Hilltoppers. Bottom 2 now. Here come the Riverhawks again. Mason Elston driving 1 in. Line drive base hit in a center. Zach George scores to make it a 2-run game. Then with the bases full, Drew Wonderling is going to clear him. This ball's driven deep to left. Stays in the air forever, and it finally comes down on the warning track. All 3 runs are going to score for Central. Clutch 3 RBI hit from Wonderling gives the Riverhawks a 5-4 lead. Central wins a marathon over rival Onalaska 16-9. Moving to the Cooley Conference now, softball action as Viroqua visited West Salem. Bottom of the first, Panthers down 3 when Josie Burdos launches a shot over the center field fence. Panthers down by 1. 2 in scoring position now in the bottom of the third. Look at this, base hit up the middle. Panthers go up 4-3. Same inning, Grace Peterson is going to drop a single in a shallow right. That brings in Rosler. Panthers now up by 2. Top 4, Blackhawks getting their offense going. Zoe Clark rips it into right field. Viroqua now down 1. Then Bryn Swenson, the grounder through the left side of the infield. That brings another across. We're tied at 5. More Viroqua here. Braylon Zitzner, base knock in a shallow center. Blackhawks go up 1. They'd add another one to take a 7-5 lead. Jump to the bottom of the 7th now. 1 run already in for West Salem when Megan Johnson drives this pitch to the outfield wall. Huge triple, ties the game at 7. Johnson just 60 feet away now. Peterson, the grounder here, is going to reach the outfield grass, and West Salem with the walk-off winner as the Panthers top Viroqua 8-7. Let's go to the pitch now. Aquinas hosting Holman last night in conference action, and the Vikings coming to play. First half already 1-0 Holman. Nora Lee's shot gets blocked. Brooklyn Zielke right there for the putback. Holman takes a 2-goal lead. Second half now, corner kick opportunity for the Vikings. Kayla Allen, great strike right on the money to Ella Lechecki. The senior in the right place at the right time. It's 3-0 Holman, and the Vikings keep pouring it on. Check out this shot from Olivia Schneider. A little floater just out of reach, finds the back of the net. Absolute beauty, puts Holman up 4. And then here we go again. Allen, the corner kick. Zielke, the header. Perfect execution from the Vikings, puts them up 5. Holman cruises to the win, 6-1 over Aquinas. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
The Department of Justice says it plans to ask the Supreme Court to weigh in on the legal battle over an abortion pill. Earlier this week, a federal appeals court preserved access to the pill for now. but under tighter rules that would allow the drug only to be dispensed up to 7 weeks, not 10, and not by mail. That ruling narrowed a recent decision by a lower court in Texas that had completely blocked the FDA's approval of the drug. FBI agents arrested a member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard for allegedly leaking classified documents related to the war in Ukraine. 21-year-old Jack Teixeira is accused of posting the documents in an online gaming chat room whose members were mostly teenagers. The Pentagon discovered the leak 1 week ago, but it started last fall. The FBI is now looking into more than a dozen cases of troublesome passengers on commercial flights for possible criminal charges. The Federal Aviation Administration says 17 cases from the first 3 months of this year were sent to FBI investigators for review. Incidents range from threats against fellow passengers to alleged sexual assaults. The FAA says it's now referred more than 250 cases to the FBI. The city of Minneapolis is still paying for the actions of the former police officer now serving time for George Floyd's murder. Thursday, the Minneapolis City Council settled 2 prior civil cases against Derek Chauvin for nearly $9 million. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more on the response from the police chief, a warning some of this arrest video may be difficult to watch.
You're under arrest, so stand up.
Police body cam video from 2017 shows the violent arrest of John Pope Jr. Disgraced former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin almost immediately grabs the 14-year-old's neck, hits him with a flashlight, and kneels on his neck for 15 minutes. It's during a domestic assault call.
One of y'all just put your knee on my back because my neck really hurts.
Thursday, the now college student was awarded $7.5 million in a settlement with the city.
Wouldn't say behind me, but, it's one step closer, yeah.
Minneapolis also agreed to pay Zoya Code $1.3 million. New body cam video from 2017 shows Chauvin carrying her by the arms, handcuffed, then dropping her head first.
Ow! That's how you gonna slam me on the ground?
Before kneeling on her neck during an assault arrest. Her charges were later dropped. It's the same move that Chauvin used on George Floyd in 2020.
If the supervisors had done the right thing, George Floyd would not have been murdered.
2 years after Floyd's murder, a review by the Minneapolis Department of Human Rights concluded the police department, quote, creates a culture that results in unnecessary escalation and/or excessive force during encounters. It's something the recently hired police chief is promising to change.
To identify and intervene early, to prevent misconduct, and to prevent brutality from occurring in the first place.
Derek Chauvin is serving more than 20 years on state and federal charges for Floyd's murder.
7 other officers were named in the lawsuits. 3 of them still work for the Minneapolis Police Department. Last year, WCCO in Minneapolis reported the city of Minneapolis moved tens of millions of dollars from the city's general fund into a fund to cover settlements for alleged police misconduct. In Minnesota, the father of a missing Winona mother's children denies any involvement in her disappearance and says he is cooperating fully with authorities. Adam Fravel issued a statement Wednesday that law enforcement advised him not to attend any news conferences or assist in the searches for 26-year-old Madeline Kinsbury because of safety concerns. But a spokesperson for the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension told CNN that she's not aware of any law enforcement agencies advising that. Kinsbury was last seen on the morning of March 31st. CNN reports Winona County Health and Human Services have taken custody of the 2 young children since Fravel does not have custodial rights. The Dane County Humane Society welcomed 5 dogs from tornado wreckage in Arkansas. The Bissell Pet Foundation transfers dogs nationwide when disaster strikes. Andrew Banstra lets us know they're in good hands at Dane County Humane Society.
Well, our journey starts actually in Athens, Tennessee. That's where our vans are. That's where our boss is located. We load up our vans with all the crates, and this journey took us to Arkansas.
When disaster strikes, Bissell, yes, the vacuum company, springs into action, facilitating dog transfers nationwide.
This is Melanie.
This morning, Dane County Humane Society received
He's very personable.
5 new furry friends.
We went to pick up the displaced dogs from the tornadoes they had recently, and then brought them first load to Milwaukee, and then finished off here.
These aren't dogs that were found after the Arkansas tornadoes.
Thank you.
These are dogs that are coming from an Arkansas shelter that's trying to free up kennels.
We are opening our doors to help bring animals that were already in the shelters in Arkansas so they can have room to hold those animals that they find roaming around after the tornadoes so they have a better chance of reuniting them with their families.
DCHS told me if they could, they would have taken more than just 5 dogs, and I can't blame them. But tomorrow, they have 20 more pups arriving from Texas.
And the reason we can only open our doors to 5 is because we have had so many transfers recently. We had 2 last week. We're receiving another one tomorrow.
It's dirty work hauling dozens of dogs cross country, but Margaret says there's nothing she'd rather be doing.
There's always a favorite on the run, but I haven't taken any home. My husband won't allow that.
Dane County Humane Society isn't funded by the government. They're able to take in animals because of what they call their incredible community, who they hope adopt these dogs when they're available. Coming back to La Crosse, Senator Tammy Baldwin met with La Crosse health leaders and police to discuss mental health services. Senator Baldwin joined a roundtable at Family and Children's Center in La Crosse to learn how the community is using federal grants to address the mental health crisis. Baldwin's work in the last federal budget included $450,000 for FCC to expand their services and outreach program. Baldwin says the grants allow local groups to create innovative science-based programs that can then be continued with local funds. She says more mental health access can create long-term community improvements.
I feel even during fiscally constrained times that community leaders have made the argument that an ounce of prevention is more cost-effective than a pound of cure.
Baldwin also visited Durand to see the impact of over $900,000 that went to EMS services. Thursday was Gold Star Grant Delivery Day in the La Crosse School District. The La Crosse Public Education Foundation selected 22 projects for their spring grants, totaling $41,000. The organization's executive director says there is enough to impact students of all ages from all schools in the district. These projects are submitted by educators and selected based on their creativity and ability to engage students.
Our teachers are excellent, stellar professionals, so to be able to give them resources to engage their students to a greater and higher degree is just a thrilling thing.
Gold Star grants are given to teachers multiple times per year. The La Crosse Public Education Foundation awarded $90,000 in grants in total this year.
It's a fact of life. It's not something to hide. It's not something to be ashamed of. This is something that they are going to live with the rest of their life. And if you can learn young and just be more comfortable with your body, you're going to be so much more confident and successful.
Gold Star grants are given to teachers multiple times per year. The La Crosse Public Education Foundation awarded $90,000 in grants in total this year. Happening today, a local waste management service is helping you with your spring cleaning. Harder's Quick Cleanup is hosting its 13th free shred event from 8 a.m. to noon this Friday and Saturday. Anyone is welcome to come by their office on Larson Street. Your first 100 pounds of documents are free to shred. Anything more will be charged. Harder's sales and customer service manager says they shredded 14 tons during the last free shred, and demand stretched far and wide.
We've had people from as far away as Preston and Rushford, Winona, Minnesota. It's a good service for everyone. We service quite a large area with it as well.
He said there may be a line, but Harder's will do its best to make sure everyone gets in and out quickly. If you're looking for something to keep you busy during the summer, the All-City sign-up begins today at the Black River Beach Neighborhood Center. It's where participants can register for summer programs, including swim lessons, day camps, and more. Do not forget, while you are at Black River Beach Neighborhood Center, you can also get your boat landing parking pass and/or a fire permit. If you're not able to make it, then you can sign up online. Registration opens today at 6 p.m. Phone-in program registration begins next Monday at 8 in the morning. Here's Derek to tell us about our weather today. Derek.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. Sure is a nice clear start here this morning, as you can see behind me in our satellite picture. Just a few clouds, if anything, but overall mostly clear skies here, with temperatures reaching around 82 degrees here for this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the south at 10 to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, temperatures at 59 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy conditions. Seasonable, however, with temperatures at 59. Southeast winds, south to southeast winds, that is, at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So for your zone forecast today, I expect highs to reach the 80s. In fact, in La Crosse today, we're looking at 82 degrees. Further south, 82 as well in Lynxville, 80 today in Viroqua. Now, meanwhile, across our central zones today, we're looking at highs reaching 82 in Trempealeau, 83 in Black River Falls, and 81 in Osseo. Highs in the Chippewa Valley, mainly in the low 80s today, with 81 expected in Eau Claire. So for your DriveCast, things are looking good this morning with those clear skies. However, as we head into the lunch hour, still looking at mostly sunny skies. And then as we head into the evening, that's when we will expect some increasing clouds to move in across the area, which we'll talk more about coming up in a last check on your full weather forecast after the break. We'll also have a check on your Buzz Report. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Another dry day in store across much of the Coulee region yet again. Now, not everybody is under these red flag warnings this time. However, it really doesn't matter if you're under these red flag warnings or not, because it's still going to be very dry. But here are some of those locations that are highlighted there on your screen. 11 a.m. into 8 p.m. 11 a.m. this morning to 8 p.m. today is when these red flag warnings will be in effect for those southerly winds, very low relative humidity values, and of course, those temperatures well into the 80s here once again. Let's start with the first ingredient, though, and you can see winds looking nice and calm for now. They will begin to pick up, though, as we head into those late morning hours, especially by this afternoon, because here's around 4 o'clock, and you can see that we will be talking about 15 to 20 mile per hour wind speeds there coming out of the south to southwesterly direction. Here's 8 o'clock, and that's when we can expect the wind speeds to begin to subside by that point. Now, not to mention, too, that our relative humidity values are definitely going to be quite low. They're starting off relatively high here now, but then they start to decline as we head into the late morning hours. And then here's the afternoon around 4 p.m., and you can see that relative humidity values will be well into the 20% ranges here today. And it's very, very dry, and the same could be really said here as we head into early this evening as well. Now, not to mention, we mentioned the temperatures here today, nothing record-breaking necessarily, but you can see our highs today will be mainly into the low 80s, with that high of 81 in Eau Claire today and high of 82 in La Crosse this afternoon. So we have all the ingredients yet again here for another day of some fire weather concerns. As of right now, things are looking nice and quiet from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, 59 degrees, lots of sunshine here. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, very sunny, 55 degrees this morning. Visibility looking good for that morning commute at 10 miles. Current temperatures right now are into the 50s, 54 in Viroqua, much colder down in Boscobel. You're currently at 48, even colder than that in Black River Falls at 37, and Sparta right now is at 40 degrees. Heading into the day planner, 76, mostly sunny by noon today, 81 and mostly cloudy at 4 p.m. And then we're going to turn pretty cloudy, as a matter of fact, by 8 o'clock this evening. At the same time, temperatures will then drop into the 70s. Right now, we are looking clear, maybe a few clouds here and there. And as we forward into Sky Tracker, you'll notice that as the day wears on, it will be turning cloudier as we're watching a trough of low pressure. That's going to help increase the moisture here today across the area. And we do expect those cloudy skies to linger here as we head into tonight and also into early tomorrow morning. Now, heading into the rest of the day tomorrow, here's 10 o'clock, and you can see some scattered showers begin to affect portions of our western communities. That is going to move east into the afternoon. 4 o'clock, we may get a break in the rain, but still relatively partly to mostly cloudy, however. And then by tomorrow night, another round of showers and storms begins to move through. So that's why our rain chances will be picking up as we're watching this next storm system move through. Some rain and some gusty conditions into Sunday. Temperatures much colder here, especially on Sunday with a high of 47. Highs in the 60s for much of next week, which is near average for this time of the year. Chances of thunderstorms mid to late next week as well.
In our morning Buzz Report, actors Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson have had a bromance brewing for years. But now McConaughey says there's a possibility they are brothers. In an interview, he said a few years ago in Greece, his mom said she knew Harrelson's father. It made them wonder if she meant no in a biblical sense, but he said he was more unwilling than Harrelson in case he discovers that his father might not be his biological parent after 53 years.
Oh, you will love again.
Celine Dion's first new song since 2019, Love Again, is the title track from the rom-com featuring Priyanka Chopra Jonas. It's also Dion's first feature film. Dion announced in December she has a neurological condition that affects her singing. She performs 11 songs for the film, which arrives in theaters May 5th. The soundtrack will be released a week later.
Do you have a question? I feel this undercurrent of rage in America.
The Showtime limited series Waco: The Aftermath focuses on the fallout from the Waco disaster, the trials of surviving members of the Branch Davidian sect, and the rise of homegrown terrorists. Timothy McVeigh. Giovanni Ribisi plays a top trial lawyer defending the surviving Branch Davidians. Waco: The Aftermath airs Sunday night on Showtime. I know you said in the first hour you couldn't remember who Matthew McConaughey was.
So
Do you recognize him?
Yeah, so Wolf of Wall Street is a movie that I recently watched. I thought he was pretty good in there.
I have never watched that. I should though.
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
been on
good.
there. What about Celine Dion?
Celine? No, I haven't heard of
No?
that one. No, I know.
I want to say she sings a famous song from the Titanic. My heart will go. I don't know. I could be so wrong. Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's. I'm wrong. Someone's telling me in my ear.
All right, so we do want to wish Haley a happy birthday today. She's turning 8. Haley loves art projects and singing and silly and all that stuff. Hugs and her imagination.
Happy 8th birthday to Jocelyn. Jocelyn likes to snuggle up with her dog, spend the holidays with her family, and ride her bike.
Happy 98th to Caroline. Caroline enjoys the company of her grand and great-grandchildren, painting and puzzles.
If you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. The Arcadia fire in Monroe County continues to burn this morning, and officials say roughly half of it is contained. At a press conference, emergency management officials say around 3,000 acres have burned. Evacuation area remains in effect for Arcadia Ave between Smothers Road, Millston Road, and Abbey Ave to Blueberry Road, including Archer Road and Arrowhead Road. There is a hard closure of Arcadia Ave from Smothers Road to Blueberry Road. How the fire started is still being investigated. The man-made chemicals PFAS, known as a forever chemical, has been contaminating drinking water in the town of Campbell for years. Now, after drilling a 500-foot test well, the town supervisors have found something that may be a source of clean drinking water. According to town supervisor Lee Donahue, an ancient river believed to be tens of thousands of years old was discovered at the drilling site at the Norm Wardwell Memorial Park in French Island.
Because it's an ancient river, and the fact that the water in this river was generated years ago, right? There's no risk that human activities could have contaminated this lower level. The fact that there's a barrier of several layers of rock that overlay this water source, it's a lot more protected, and our residents deserve that.
Donahue says they will begin pumping water from the well next week, and that water will be tested for PFAS and other contaminants. Donahue doesn't expect that the new water source contains PFAS, but says they will know more after samples come back in May. Happening today, a local waste management service is helping you with your spring cleaning. Harder's Quick Cleanup is hosting its 13th free shred event from 8 a.m. to noon this Friday and Saturday. Anyone is welcome to come by their office on Larson Street. Your first 100 pounds of documents are free to shred. Anything more will be charged. Harder sales and customer service manager says they shredded 14 tons during the last free shred, and demand stretched far and wide.
We've had people from as far away as Preston and Rushford, Winona, Minnesota. It's a good service for everyone. We service quite a large area with it as well.
He said there may be a line, but Harder's will do its best to make sure everyone gets in and out quickly. If you're looking for something to keep you busy during the summer, the All-City sign-up begins today at the Black River Beach Neighborhood Center. It's where participants can register for summer programs, including swim lessons, summer day camps, and more. Do not forget, while you are at Black River Beach Neighborhood Center, you can also get your boat landing parking pass and/or fire permit. If you're not able to make it, then you can sign up online. Registration opens today at 6 p.m. Phone and program registration begins next Monday at 8 in the morning.
As you head out the door this morning, temperatures are in the 50s under clear skies. We warm up into the 60s by 9 o'clock, followed by mostly sunny conditions with temperatures in the 70s by 11. This afternoon, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies, especially later in the day, with temperatures in the low 80s this afternoon. Nothing record-breaking for today, but still another very dry and warm day before we turn much wetter and cooler this weekend, especially on Sunday with that high of 47 degrees. Highs are going to be in the 60s, though, which is a little bit more average for this time of the year for next week, along with a chance of thunderstorms mid to late next week. So I'm sorry, Sophia.
I guess we can't have it all.
No, you can't.
I want them to stay. I knew they weren't going to, but I have spent the last 3 days outside, and it's been...
I don't blame you on that. It looks like you got a little color there, too.
It's been such an energy boost that I think everyone needed. But thank you, Derek, and thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you for watching News 8.